not a disappointment. You're not a failure. You're not any of those lies that you tell yourself or that you hear the world telling you. My name is Sister Elizabeth, and I'm with the Franciscan Sisters, Third Order Regular of Penance of the Sorrowful Mother. Did you catch all that? It's kind of a mouthful, I know. A lot of people just shorten our title to TOR Sisters. They shorten the Third Order Regular down to TOR, so just a TOR sister. Today, I want to give a little encouragement to the ladies. Ladies, I want to express to you and to impart to you your belovedness, and just that you are loved and that you are a beloved daughter of the Father. And I know that phrase can be so seemingly overused, which is sad because it seems so cliche at times, and we can kind of say, oh yeah, I'm a beloved daughter of the Father, check, got it. But we don't always let it sink into our core of who we are, because have you thought about it? As daughter, that's our foundational identity, is daughter. That's who we are. It's the beginning of all of our journeys. When we were created daughter. When you were born and the doctor received you from your mother's womb, he didn't lay you on your mother's chest and say, look, a CEO, or look, a librarian, or look, a nun. When he laid you on your mother's chest at the moment of your birth, he said, behold, you have a daughter. Behold. Actually, that word, I was asking a friend of mine years ago when she had her first child, what was it like when you received your first child and the doctor laid her, it was a girl, laid her on your chest, and she was in all of her, birth yuck still, but what was your experience of that? And my friend just said, the only thing that came to mind through her tears of joy was, behold. Behold my beautiful daughter. Behold what was created in love. Behold her preciousness. Behold her little nose and her perfect little fingers and her perfect little toes. It's just this sense of awe and wonder of behold, behold. And that is the same word and sentiment that the Father has for us at every moment. Behold my daughter, behold my pride and joy, behold this woman created in beauty and love, and behold her uniqueness. Behold. That's what he says at every moment over us. But unfortunately, we don't always hear that at every moment, right? There's just so many lies that can bombard us all day long. We're just pummeled with it, we can say, yes, I know that I'm a beloved daughter of the Father. I know that I'm loved, but then someone can give you a look of disappointment, and no longer are you a beloved daughter of the Father, but now you say to yourself, I'm a disappointment. Or if you, make a mistake or mess up something or drop the ball or whatever, instead of saying, I am precious and the Lord loves me still fully and totally, instead you say, I'm a failure and I can't do anything right. We lose our identity, even if other things you don't get invited to a party, or you get defriended, or, some dislikes on, social media things, instead of saying to yourself, I am seen and known and loved by a God and a Father who is passionately in love with me, you say to yourself, I'm a reject, I'm not worth it, nobody likes me. Again, those lies, they just pummel us and they just bombard us all day long, and it's not the truth. You are a beloved daughter of the Father. And I was thinking, kind of praying with this whole notion, and somewhere along the lines I had read that at the moment of our creation, the Trinity kissed us with a kiss that was so full of divine love and passionate joy over us, and that our soul remembers that kiss from the moment of our creation. But our mind doesn't necessarily remember that, or at least doesn't remember it in the fullness of what we experienced at our creation. And so even thinking of that notion, I was like, oh gosh, I wonder what that was like with Eve, because Eve would have remembered it, because when she was created a woman, right? So she would have remembered that kiss of the Trinity. So I was praying through that and imagining God putting Adam to sleep and then fashioning Eve from his side and forming her into a beautiful woman, and then breathing his life into her. And the moment that she opened her eyes, like that would have been for me the moment of the kiss, right? The moment that she opened her eyes, she looked into the fathomless depths of God the Father's love. Like she saw the sparkle in his eye. She saw the passionate joy. She saw like radiating love and joy coming from his face and pride in who she was. Like she saw reflected in his gaze her beauty and her worth and her goodness. And the best part about it, I mean, not that you can't, I mean, that's pretty good, but like even more so, evil had yet to enter the world. So she didn't have lies contending with this experience. She just was enveloped in a pool of love and acceptance and of talk about being rooted in her identity as a beloved daughter of the Father. And again, each one of us has had that similar experience. The moment of our creation, we don't remember it cognitively, but our souls remember it, and we yearn for it, we long for it. A few months back, I had an experience in prayer. Actually, it started because I was listening to a song called Run to the Father, and it's kind of a popular song, or was anyway. And I was singing the refrain, and I think the refrain, if I can remember it correctly, is, I'll run to the Father, I fall into grace, I'm done with the hiding, no reason to wait, my heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend, so I'll run to the Father again and again and again and again. And I remember like the song really hitting my soul, and I was, just praising the Lord with it and kind of like singing with my whole heart, like, yeah, I'll run to the Father. I'll run to the Father again and again and again and again. And then I kind of started thinking, like, actually, I don't run to the Father. I don't, like, run to him again and again and again. I run to Jesus, and not that that's a bad thing at all, but it just gave me pause, like, oh, why don't I run to the Father? Why don't I run into his arms? And the more I started thinking about it and praying with it, like I realized, like I run to Jesus because he is my spouse. And as a bride of Christ, I've been chosen by him out of like all the women in the world to be espoused to him. And so just like any earthly spouse would, you want to share your whole heart with them. So all the pain, the joys, the sorrows, the processing, the need for extra love, the need to just kind of cry in his arms, like all of that's what I run to Jesus for. And again, that's not bad at all. But the more I kind of dug into my heart, I realized too that I felt and feel chosen by Jesus. I feel that because I was chosen out of all the women in the world to be his bride, that there was a degree of him really wanting me. He's choosing to want me. And somehow in my mind, I thought, oh, but the Father, like, he has to love me because I'm his daughter. Like, he doesn't get a choice, I kind of had to laugh at myself. I thought that was kind of a ridiculous thing to say. And it's funny, too, because I have a great relationship with my earthly father. So it was just so interesting to me to kind of pray through this. And as I was praying through it, Jesus reminded me in the scriptures that Philip came to him saying, Jesus, show us the Father. And Jesus said, Philip, if you know me, you know the Father. Like, I reveal the heart of the Father. And so I said, okay, Jesus, if these sentiments that I feel from you, if I see your look of love to me and I feel chosen by you, then that's the same look of love and the same being chosen as the Father would have, that same sentiment. So show me the heart of the Father, like take me to the Father. So in a prayer experience that I had, I asked Jesus, take me to the Father. So I was standing next to Jesus, and the Father was in front of us, and we were about 100 feet away. The Father's back was to us. He was sitting on a bench on a hill. He was overlooking this really beautiful valley. It was really lush and green. It was really peaceful. And I was standing, like I said, 100 feet away, looking at God the Father's back, and I had this ridiculous death grip on Jesus' arm. Like, I was just clinging to him. So the first thing I had to do in that prayer period was like figure out, why was I clinging to Jesus? Like, I was just so nervous. Like, why would I be nervous going to the Father? So I was talking to Jesus about it, and I realized that I was nervous. That even though I knew Jesus' look of love, I was still afraid that when I looked into the Father's eyes, I was only going to see this dull, disinterested look back. Like, there wasn't going to be the sparkle in his eye. There wasn't going to be the depth of love that I needed to see there. So Jesus gave me this really reassuring, knowingly loving look, like, it's okay. And so he just started walking. And so again, here I am, death grip on Jesus, and I'm walking to God the Father. And as we approach, God the Father stands up, and he turns towards me, and he opens up his hands to me, and he says 2 words. He says, "Oh, child." And when he said those 2 words, I experienced them so full of love, just dripping with like yearning for me and this yearning to express how much he loves me. And I dropped my death grip on Jesus, no hesitation, and I ran to the Father and I threw myself into his embrace and I buried my face in his chest and I just started crying, and he wrapped his arm around my back and my head and just like held me so close, and I just cried out of joy and out of relief because I was just soaking in that love that I was afraid wasn't going to be there, but it was in greater amounts than I could ever imagine. And then eventually I pulled back from the Father to look into his eyes. And when I looked into his eyes, it had to have been like what Eve would have seen. Like I just saw a gut-wrenchingly tender, yet fiercely passionate love for me shining in his eyes. And his face was full of that radiant pride in me. And I did see that sparkle in his eyes. Like, it was as if I could see the whole world contained in his eyes and the fathomless depths, but yet I knew that he was looking directly at me and had eyes only for me in that moment. And I felt so loved and so cherished and so precious to him. And my sisters, that is the same look that he looks on you at every moment of every day. No matter what you've done, no matter what you haven't done, no matter who you are, that look of total joy, that look of total pride, that radiant love, that radiant light, like you just giddy almost, with like how much he loves you. Like that is how much he loves you and how he looks at you as well. And so I encourage you today, this week, sometime in your prayer time, ask the Father to reveal that look of love to you. Ask the Father to give you some experience, some reminder of what that first intense kiss of divine love was like. Ask him to reveal his heart to you. And if that's scary, ask Jesus to take you to the Father, because he'll always reveal the Father's heart to you. And remember, sisters, like, you are not a disappointment. You're not a failure. You're not any of those lies that you tell yourself or that you hear the world telling you. Like, you are a beloved daughter of the Father, cherished and delighted in. Peace to you, sisters.